I grew up in kind of a weird house where my dad couldn't just have like a normal conversation like, hey, how was school? He would ask you these like probing philosophical puzzle questions. Like he was like a leprechaun who wanted to steal a human baby. But first, a question. Like it was always kind of like that. And you were just like, just please be normal for like a little bit. And but like literally, we would all sit around the table and he'd be like, girls, if you had to give up a sense, what sense would you give up? And Emma would sit there thinking about it for like half an hour. Immediately I was like, fashion? Because it's really not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. My sister would be like, oh, you're wearing a floral shirt with plaid shoes. And I was like, yeah, but you're blind now. So it's not like you even know that. Haha, go cry to our deaf mother about it. But my sister actually has a great sense of, my sister has been like literally, my sister has been French manicuring her toenails since she was 12. Me, for the first 2 years, I thought Project Runway was about planes. Like, I have no, I actually had never watched it. I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, why are they buying more fabric? Like, I had no idea. And honestly, I probably could have given up vision also because I don't have the best, like, my vision, I wear contacts, but it's really kind of not great. To the point where, like, even my hindsight is, like, 40-60. And I'll be like, yeah, I still think that was a good idea. You know? Day old discount sushi. It's a discount, it's good. I don't see a problem, it's fine. Oh, I'm nearsighted. I always get these confused. I'm nearsighted. There's like the 3 types of common blindness, where you can be nearsighted, which means you can only see things close to your face. You can be farsighted, which means you can only see things that are far away. Or you can be Renee Zellweger, which means that you are Renee Zellweger, and you just have no visible eyes to speak of at all. Like, every time I look at her face, she's like this. Like, I'm just like, how do you see? I think she just bounces sonar waves off things like a dolphin. And, like, that's how she knows where her co-stars are. She's just like, Clooney, Kidman. Like, which makes the dancing in Chicago, like, all that more impressive, considering. Like, she looks like the way you look when you're sitting, like, really in front of the computer screen for a long time, but just always. I used to look like that. We never had a computer when I was growing up, but we had a little television with video games. And my dad, again, my dad, he used to force us to play Tetris. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you have the same problem with your parents. They were like, more blocks. But he would make it because he thought it was going to make us smarter. He was like, it'll make you smart. And I was like, no. And for the record, if you have kids, no. Playing Tetris doesn't make them smarter. I would play for like hours a day, and if anything, I'm like a little bit better than other people at putting boxes in a UPS truck. As long as I get like one long, thin box every couple of minutes. And that's it. Like, it's really bad. I mean, I used to, it was good I could stay inside instead of like doing the outdoors thing. I was never really big. I even like in high school, I ran track, and I was like, I'll join track as long as I don't have to do any running. So I joined the track team, and then I didn't run at all. I threw the javelin for 2 years until I killed a mammoth, which was so... They dock your team like 4 points if you hit one, 6 points if it dies. That wasn't even my fault. I'm like, why is it on the field? They're supposed to be extinct. They are now extinct, which is embarrassing. My mom's kind of a character. She used to... I talked to her the other day, and I was like, oh, I'm thinking hesitantly about having a party in my apartment. She was like, oh, well, I have an idea. And already I'm like, I'm not interested in whatever it is. But she was like, if you have a party, people are going to try and look through your medicine cabinet. What you can do, I saw this on TV, you can fill your medicine cabinet with marbles, so that when they go to open the door, all the marbles come spilling out onto the floor. And I was like, well, that's a great idea, except that A, I don't have any marbles because I don't live in a 60s era Norman Rockwell painting. That's not like a thing I have in my house. Like, oh yeah, I just got off work, I'm gonna play shooters with Scooch and Jimmy. Like, that's not, let me get my tiddlywinks, then we'll jump rope for half. Like, no, we don't have marbles, I'm sorry. second of all, even if I had marbles, I don't have a top-loading medicine cabinet that you apparently bought off the To Catch a Predator website, or wherever you got yours. Mine just opens this way. That's you have to do it front, so kind of impossible to get the marbles in. Third, even if I did somehow do it, people can look through anything you have if you have a party at your apartment. I'm not going to be like, oh, what if they look in my laundry hamper? Let me fill it with bats. Or like, oh no, they can look at my recycling. I'll fill it with this odorless gas that causes brain hemorrhaging. Now everyone's dead. Thanks a lot. Oh. And I can't do like a lot of stuff in my apartment because my roommate buys every electrical thing that exists in the world, so the whole living room is just like a mass of cords and wires, and I don't know what any of them go to. So the other day I was trying to clean and I unplugged 2 of them, and a guy at Mount Sinai passed away. And I was like, I am so sorry, but that was not labeled. Like, so now, him and the mammoth, I've got 2 deaths on my hands. Both of them really not my fault. I'm like, really not my fault on that. What else? I'm not into like the decorating the apartment thing. My sister's really good. She's good with the fashion and like the decorating, and I'm good with nothing. But I really try. I bought like a rug from IKEA that I was putting together strand by strand. It takes forever, but it is going to be so nice when it's done. 2015, I'm thinking maybe. I'm just from like the Applebee's Bennigan's kind of thing, where you just like, you know, take a nail gun and stick shit to the walls, and that's fine. That's all you gotta do. Oh, what else? My mom is Puerto Rican, my dad is Caucasian, but they agreed before they got married that all the children would be raised white. So I've been wearing polo shirts almost since birth. I've been to like 9 Bare Naked Ladies concerts. You have to earn it. I'm no Dan Upham, but you know, we try. But like really, there was nothing Puerto Rican about our family growing up. Like the only thing maybe growing up, we always had like a 20-pound bag of rice in the pantry. So being Puerto Rican like slightly increased my chances of getting scholarship money and type 2 diabetes, and that's it. Because I mean, we don't even look like I'm 5'9.5". Okay, and like most of my relatives hovering around 4'3", roughly. It's like, so you go to family reunions and it looks like a reenactment of Gulliver's Travels. Literally, you just walk in, you're like, oh, hello! I haven't seen you in so long. Grandma, I don't want to step on anyone. Please stop shooting arrows at me. I hate when you do that. This is going to be like the last family reunion. But my mom's kind of distanced herself now from the whole Puerto Rican culture thing. She's very like suburbia now. My mom is very, she and my dad just bought a GPS system for their Volvo called the Magellan, because they're going to be circumnavigating the suburbs. Just such a grandiose name. I'm like, the Magellan, this is on a car that drives like 7 miles a day, like 8 if she goes to Panera at lunch. Like, it's not like a big trip. I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, I want to come up with one. I want to come up with a GPS system called like the Christopher Columbus, where it tells you it's going to give you a really great shortcut to your destination, but then it takes you to like a totally different place altogether. But the catch is that when you get to the second place, you have to insist that you're at the place you typed in originally. So you're just like, oh, I want to go to my in-laws' apartment in Westchester. And they take you to like a petting zoo on the Lower East Side. And you're just like, oh, Ian, your mother's fur is so soft. And he's like, that's a goat. And you're like, give me another quarter. I love when she eats pellets out of my hand. And someone the other day gave me an idea for that joke. They were like, oh, I have an idea for that joke. The idea they had to do with the time when Christopher Columbus, when he landed at Plymouth Rock. And I was like, well, that would be an awesome idea if he had ever landed at Plymouth Rock, which he never did ever. That was the Pilgrims. Christopher Columbus landed at Columbus Circle, where he discovered the Time Warner Building at 59th Street. All right, thank you very much. You guys have been lovely.